Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing natural disasters in the United States, but also globally around the world. So we're going to be accessing the Akashic records and whatever the tarot cards want to say, my intuition, and my psychic channeling, it's all going to be capitulated all in this one little video. If you have any questions in relation to the natural disasters within the United States or also globally, please feel free to put them in the live chat or in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer them if I have time, or better yet, if this video is already answering it for you. So, this video is being recorded on Friday, August the 1st at 2:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, sharing this video with others, really help boost the algorithm here on YouTube. Now, don't forget to hit the bell icon, because a lot of you guys are not being notified when I go live, when a video is being posted, and stuff like that. So make sure you hit all notifications. And if you have already done that and you see that, but you're not being notified, go into the description or the comment section below. Follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and I will personally notify you on their behalf, on my behalf. Anyway, let's begin. Let's get right into this. I don't like to have long intros. This video is just for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only as well. All right, so we covered a lot of natural disaster videos. So if you want to watch any natural disaster videos that I've done in the past, I will put the link to the playlist in the description below and in the comment section below if you want to go ahead and watch that on your own time. Let's get on with this. Let's just go ahead and let's see what happens. And there you have with that. Okay, so the reason why we're doing this was because in one of my videos, well, not in one of my videos, but in one of my second channeling, it talked about in the shooting star prophecy about major natural disasters. So let's talk about that. We have here this was channeled on January the 11th, 2025. And let's see. I'm going to read it to you. It's called the shooting star prophecy. Life as we know it will come to an end. A transformation is on its way. Beauty shall grace this planet once again. Nature will reconcile and solve the issues of the modern world. Expect a form of evolution to take hold before your eyes. A new king of the seas and land may take their rightful place in the food web. Those that dominated will no longer dominate in this new world you call home. Hello, Tracy. How are you, my love? I'm well as well. Yeah, so let's take a look at that. So it says here, new king of the seas, what means the ocean, the new king of the ocean, and land may take their rightful place in the food web. Who is the main right now person who's dominating land? That's humans, right? So that's the food web. Let's take a look at that. Let's find that. Let's find a little bit more information on that, because it's really interesting to see, because that's part of climate change. That's part of natural disasters. What is changing? What is evolutionizing to make humans no longer the dominant species on Earth, specifically on land? And then we'll take a look at the water as well. I keep getting told to look at the megalodon, so we'll look at that in a second. If you guys are not familiar with the megalodon is a giant shark, and that lived about 2 million years ago. All right, so Spirit Angels, tell me about this prophecy, the shooting star prophecy. You mentioned that there will be a new species that will take their rightful place on the food web on land. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Oh. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's saying here that the way it's going to operate, the way it's going to work, is scientists. Scientists are going to be also part of the issue with natural disasters and man-made disasters around the world, not only within the United States, but also globally. So we have here the first card that we get here is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is creating things, taking ideas, taking concepts, and executing it with effortlessly. You ever seen like the new Jurassic Park movie, the Jurassic World movie, Jurassic Rebirth? How they made all these bunch of dinosaurs and the scientists, and they just shoved them on the island and just called it a day. But they were mutated animals. This is kind of like what it feels like. It feels like there is Seven of Pentacles here. It's talking about how scientists are actually engaged in specific behavior in the alteration of certain species or creating new species. This is the Seven of Pentacles here. It's followed by the Lover's card, which it feels very much like the Garden of Eden. And this is telling me habitat or laboratory experiment. So the question I will ask you right now is part of the psychic channeling that I did on January the 11th, 2025 at 11:11 p.m. Eastern Time. It talked about the rise of a new king or new dominant species on land. And how does that entail? It's entailed because scientists don't know when to stop. They don't know when it's just because you could doesn't mean you should, right? That's the best line in Jurassic Park franchise. This is the Seven of Pentacles here, and it's followed by the Lover's card. And the Lover's card is laboratory experiment, creating things that's not natural, the natural order. But we do have here as well in we have the Knight of Swords reverse. So for a while, this new species is not going to dominate in the way that many have hoped or many have thought originally. Specifically because the Knight of Swords is telling me here that they're going to be black marketed, they're going to be targeted, they're going to be going after. So their population is going to be very tiny and small for quite a while until that number has either gone into extinction or they made one that is a little bit more adaptable to the situation of the current or the original. So what I'm saying essentially in hindsight is that I'm seeing that the scientists are creating a species, right, and they're releasing into planet Earth, specifically on land, a land species, and this land species is going to be hunted. It's going to be black marketed. It's going to be the species is not going to be able to reproduce at a rapid pace, so its population can be maintained very small. But there's a possibility that scientists may take that species and may make one that's more adaptable to the situation, one that's more adaptable to human poaching or human hunting or whatever it is, one that's a little bit more adaptable, right? And this also is followed by the strength card. The strength card is reversed. So for a while, this feels like this new species is not going to be a very strong species, which is kind of like, in a way, it goes, what's the best word for it? It kind of gets undermined, or it doesn't really, people don't take it seriously. That's the word that we use. So we have here, we have the Emperor. But eventually, as it grows up, its danger becomes insurmountable. So it's saying here that it's a baby. The thing's a baby. So whatever they're releasing into the planet Earth, specifically on land, it's a baby. So people underestimate it. They maybe think it's so cute and it's so adorable, blah blah blah. But as it starts to get older, which is the Emperor card, it becomes more dangerous. It becomes docile. It becomes very vicious. Well, rightfully so. I mean, think about it. If it's being hunted, it has to do whatever it can to survive, right? That's the natural order. Whether it was created or not is not up for debate. But that's what the cards are saying. Let's take a look in the ocean. What's going on in the ocean? Why is there a new king in the ocean? Now, what's really interesting in the past, I was doing this with my therapist. I briefly mentioned this on the channel occasionally over the past couple of years. But when I did my private tarot card reading with my therapist, I wanted to know, is the megalodon real? Is it a myth? Is it still alive in the ocean? And here's what I got. It said that the megalodon does not exist anymore. It is extinct, but there's a but. And that but comes in and say it's going to come back. And here are the three ways that they told me it's going to come back. The first one is radioactive waste in the ocean, which mutates the genomes or the genes inside of sharks to make them get large very quickly. It changes them by radioactively altering the genome without needing scientific influence, but rather human negligence, right? So that's one way. The other one is, what to call it? It was scientific experiment, right? That was one big one. That's the one everybody knows. And the other one is frozen. I heard frozen, like something is frozen in water. And as the global warming, the water decreases, the possibility of one being frozen is possible, and it could be defrosted, like cryogenics, if you will. And so there's multiple different ways that it can go. And I'm also getting another one as I'm saying it. The other possibility that it can occur is that as global warming gets warmer and warmer pretty rapidly, it also changes the genomes inside the DNA of a certain shark or a certain species, and it starts rapidly growing and growing and growing and becomes uncontrollable. So there's many ways that this can come about, But again, it does say that there is a very high probability that the megalodon could make its way and make a quote unquote comeback. And people are going to be like, oh, it was never extinct. It was alive. It was always here. No, it actually was gone. It was never here anymore. It was extinct. It just re-evolved back, or it's what's called contingent evolution, where a different species appears and looks and acts and has the same body plan as a species from the past that is long extinct, right? Think about it this way: the Brontosaurus was a long-necked dinosaur, and giraffe. They serve the same purpose. They're very different species, but yet they have the same body plan. So keep that in mind as well. So now, with that said, we're going to ask um, the tarot card about the king in the sea. Spirits and angels, you were saying that there's going to be a rise of a new dominant species in the ocean. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Okay, we have the betrayal card in reverse. Okay, so I'm not hearing that if there is in my right ear, I'm hearing from my guide Claudian. I'm hearing that there is not a new king that comes about, like not like a scientific experiment, but rather one evolves. And it's like the next generation. It separates itself from its family lineages and becomes its own separate species, but as part of a fully dominated species currently. Currently, the most dominant species, let me take a look and see what the most dominant species is in the ocean. This will give us a little bit of a keynote here on what exactly is changing, because that would be really helpful. What is the most, okay, hold on. What is on the top of the ocean food web? Let's see. What is on the top of the ocean food web? What is the apex predator? We have here creatures like orcas, great white sharks, tunas, and dolphins. Interesting. Because it doesn't specify a species here. It specifies that the apex predator would, whatever the apex predator now is, it's going to have a separate lineage. So it's going to give birth to a brand new species of whatever that species is, and it's going to evolve as a separate branch, but this one's going to be bigger, it's going to be larger, it's going to be more ferocious, it's going to be more aggressive in nature. Imagine a giant killer whale, right? Or a giant dolphin that's a little bit more on the vicious side, or a giant great white, like those things. What we have here is we have the three of swords reversed. The three of swords reversed is not a betrayal, so it's not an extinction of these animals, but rather it's a reinvention of these animals. This is the king of swords, king of wands here. This is the king, right? This is somebody who's in position. This is somebody who's empowered. This is somebody who's in control. It challenges the three of swords reversed because it's not about the extinction, but rather it's the reinvention of it. And because of that, this will put them further on top. Now, these species specifically will become more specialized in their nature or their niche. So if God forbid there was another extinction, they're likely to go extinct because they'll become so specialized. Right? So for example, the best way I can explain this is, let's explain it in a way that you guys will understand what that means. An Italian person making leather handbags, right, in Italy in 1800, right? And now, fast forward to modern day, there's only like maybe 5 people making leather handbags in Italy because they got replaced by the Chinese manufacturing machines making plastic leather bags. They didn't need people; they just needed robots. Mass production. Same thing. When you become so specialized in a specific area, God forbid anything happened or something changes or something progressed to a different society or a different normalcy, a different normalcy, you could have faced extinction. You can face an ending of something. And here you have the Eight of Pentacles here. This is working on. It's almost completed. So this brand new species that's going to emerge out of the ocean, it's on its way. It doesn't feel like something that's popped out of the blue. This is something that has been molting and changing and altering for years now. This is not something that happened overnight. This is something that has been evolving over time through generations and lineages. And here you have it. What's the king of the sea? We have the devil card. The devil. And you have here 9 of Pentacles, great fortune. But this is accidental. This wasn't like forced evolution. This was accidental evolution, which tells me that there has to do with human waste. So around this time of this mutated species or multiple mutated species of apex predators, it's going to come around like radioactive waste or something with a lot of waste which humans disregard. So that's what I'm getting for that. Is there anything else you want to say to that matter, Spirit? Okay, they're saying I hit it on the nail, so I guess we'll move on to the next one. Let's see what's next for Mother Nature. We have here a new shaken will realign the coral reefs and aid in its fast-paced progress towards a better prepared food web. A new shaking will realign the coral reefs and aid in its fast-paced progress towards a better prepared food web. What's tells us here the great shaking will be an earthquake. So let's find out where this food web is. Spiritual angels tell me, you said that there was going to be a food web that's going to experience a great shaking, specifically in the coral reef. Would you like to point us where it is? I'm hearing the ring of fire. I'm hearing the word California and Mexico. Where is my map? I have my map cards here. Let's see. Oh, here's my flags. So this might give us a little bit better of an understanding about where the realignment or this earthquake is going to take place. So Spirit Angels tell me, where is this realignment going to take place? This great shaking in the coral reefs, altering the food web. Okay, so there's a couple places actually. The bottom is going to be around Macedonia, which I don't know where that is. We have an Ivory Coast, so it's going to take place on the coast, right? It's going to take place on the coast. Yeah. It's going to take place on the coast, and it's going to be by a code. There's going to be a code name here. Namia, it's called Namia code, which kind of feels very much like it's the Africa region as well. So it's going to be like the Mid-Atlantic, kind of like more in the southern part of what's it called, closer to South Africa. We have here as well as underneath the strength card here and the Afghanistan challenge in this, and Uruguay, which is Brazil. We have here North Korea. So it's also going to take place in some parts of the Pacific as well. So there seem to be a multitude of different areas where massive earthquakes are going to occur, where they realign the food web and the coral reef in the area. We have the North Korea here in specifically, and it's telling me it has to do with the also rockets, like missiles being shot into the ocean, and then blasting is releasing radioactivity waves into the ocean, and that's also realigning the coral reef. It's realigning the food web, if you will. And because the Afghanistan is here, they're saying this is like more of like terrorism, if you will. So this is like terrorism of the national order in the ocean. Now, in the Temperance card here, and the Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, we have an island nation, which is the United Kingdom, right? We have another island nation, Japan. We have a continental country, Canada. Then we also have another one, Portugal. Okay? Why it is important? What does this tell us? It tells us that the multitude of different areas where the coral reef and the great earthquakes are going to start experiencing is going to take place in pieces in Europe. It's going to take place in the Pacific Ring, or the Ring of Fire, which is going to take place closer to the Asian part of the area, some parts of Southern California into New Mexico. And we also have here as well, it's because of the reason why there is some sort of shaking around the the eastern part of Asia. Well, I think the western part of Asia, I guess. So that's where Japan is. It's right by where Korea is. It's going to be due because of its missiles. So Korea is going to cause something with this missile that it realigns the coral reef in Asia, but it's not directly correlated to an earthquake, but it's still considered and classified as a shaken. Whereas the one on the western coast of the United States or the western coast of North America, it will take place in California, Canada, and Mexico was told that this has to do with the Cascadian fault line, and the San Andreas fault line was telling me this is going to tell us here that that's what's going to trigger this. And then there's also another fault line, a hidden fault line running between France, Spain, and it's going to be very close to where Britain is and where Portugal is. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just giving you what I'm getting energetically, but those are the areas that I would say would be the most areas where we're going to see the most activity in terms of realignment in the coral reefs and the changing of the food web in terms of earthquakes. We do have here as well, we have the strength card. The strength card is reversed. Now, the question that we're asking here is the realignment of the coral reef and where will it entail? We have the strength card here, and you have 5 areas, 5 different areas getting all this. So it doesn't feel like this is, what's it called, an earthquake that is specific to one region. It's multitude of different earthquakes and multiple different events over many different areas of the earth. And that's what realigned the coral reef. It all seemed to happen within a 1 week to 2 week span, but it happens pretty consistently to the point where it alters and changes the food web and the marine life in the ocean. We do have here, we have temperance though. Remember how it said in that line, it said that there was going to be a great shaking and it was going to realign the food web, and it sounds pretty positive in terms of that. There's going to be a lot of positives here that come out of this realignment. It actually may help certain species thrive while other species go extinct. So this tells me here that this is also going to aid into the 7th extinction on Earth. But that's kind of like what I'm getting right now. This is like what I'm feeling. And we have the 201 here, which means there's going to be 2 major big events that's going to realign the coral reef and also multiple different areas around the world, especially tsunami and earthquakes and stuff like that. One of them in particular is going to come in as a staff, and this one's going to be the one that changes Earth together. So there's going to be 2 big ones. There's going to be one big one that doesn't really change Earth, but it's very drastic and the damage is tremendous. And then we're going to have one that actually alters and changes the topography of Earth. And here you have as well as you have the 10 of Pentacles. The world as we know it, the globe as we see it, is not going to be the same. So it's going to be a big alteration. It doesn't seem like there's going to be something small and minor. This feels very much like there's going to be major events. So let's break it down a little bit. We established that there's going to be areas that's going to be experiencing a lot of activity, specifically in Canada, California, and New Mexico on that region there. Then we have one being occurred in the Asian side, which is due to North Korea shooting missiles into the water, was causing a realignment in the coral reefs and add radioactivity waste in that area, which tells me that's kind of like where there's going to be a lot of shark activity. And it's going to be by Japan. Then we also get areas in like the fault line by England and Portugal, and there's going to be a fault line that runs through France into Spain. I don't know why, but there's a fault line that runs through France into Spain. It could even be a massive earthquake or a big crater that opens up and forms something, so that could be possible as well. And then we also have a massive earthquake occurring on the southern part of Africa, but kind of like where you know how it makes like it look like a chicken wing, and then it gets a little skinny and has that little sharp point, and then it goes straight down. It's going to be like where that point is, kind of like past Libya, or a little bit. Yeah, it's probably most likely past Libya, but going to be sometime in the area in the rain zone as the Dominican Republic of Congo, or whatever you want to call that. So that's what I'm getting in terms of those areas. Those are the likely areas of the most activity in terms of earthquakes. Okay, let's see what's the next one. It says here, the monsters of the sea will be no more. A new one will emerge and take its place. We already talked about the ocean and a new monster emerging, something being re-evolved, something changing, something being altered, and it's going to take its place as the new king of the seas. But here it says here, a new monster, the monsters of the seas will be no more. A new one will emerge to take its place. So it's saying that there's going to be a new apex predator that is not currently an apex predator. We talked about orcas, great whites, what's it called? What else is an apex predator? Dolphins and some other species is also an apex predator. But it's saying that those will be no more. There's going to be a new apex predator that's going to be on the scene. Let's find out what that is. What is the new apex predator that will appear and make its way onto the scene in the ocean? That's going to dominate above all apex predators in the ocean, in marine life. What is the next marine apex predator that's going to emerge? I'm going to try to my best to describe this. Oh, okay. Okay, so we have justice, cardio, and burns. This is something that's not natural. So this is disharmony. This is not harmony. This is not harmonious. This is not equilibrium. This is something that does not belong here, which means this has to do with a scientific experiment, a reinvention of a marine species, either of the past or a modification of a marine species to look and act of a species of the past, even though it's using the genomes of the species of the now. So what the way I'm explaining it is, they took, for example, take a shark, right, and they genetically modified the shark to act and look like an animal or a species in the ocean and marine life back in, just say, 200 million years ago. It's not actually the animal of the past, but instead it's a modification of an animal, of an apex predator currently. That's what it feels like in terms of this answer. Because it says here, the monsters of the ocean, or the apex predator of the ocean, will be no more. A new one will emerge to take its place. So there's going to be a rise of a new apex predator, and this is going to be the sixth cups here. We talked about going back to the past. So this is something from the past. So this is a reinvention or reimmersion of an old species, an old apex predator that makes its way into the oceans again. And we have here, we have the four pentacles reversed. This is something that scientists cannot control. So this is uncontrollable. So whatever this is, whether this means that they're creating these species at an uncontrollable rate, or they're addicted to greed, or whatever, there's something here that makes this so uncontrollable. I don't know why I'm stuttering in this video, so I do apologize. But there's something in this experiment that makes everything so uncontrollable. And then we also have here, as well as we have the High Priestess reverse. And the High Priestess reverse is not doing what's best for the world. It is doing what's best for you. So this feels like there is going to be a corporation that's going to be pushing and forcing this type of behavior, forcing species to be emerged, to be born, to be created for whatever gain that they are looking for. So definitely expect billionaires or corporations to play a major role in the species of planet Earth. It says here, humans will not be able to affect the life of the oceans, for that they adapted. So what does that mean? It says humans will not be able to affect the life of the oceans, for that they adapted, which means that humans will not be able to interfere with the natural order of the ocean. But it seems contradicting to based on what we already talked about earlier, right? We talked about how humans in some way interfere with the ocean. We talked about missiles being shot into the ocean, radioactive waves. We talked about all these things, but somehow it's saying here humans will not be able to affect the life of the ocean, for that they've adapted. I want to ask what that means. What does that mean? What does it mean, Spirit, when humans will not be able to affect the life of the ocean, for that they've adapted? What does that mean? This card comes in, it's harmony, justice. This is interesting. This card comes up before. Harmony and justice. Why? 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 Okay, so they're telling me after humans have interfered with the natural order on the marine life and marine in the ocean and stuff, it feels like humans cannot interfere anymore. There's something stopping humans from interfering. There's a blockage here. There's something that's blocking humans from interfering with the marine life after they mess with us so much. It feels like humans have created so much chaos and so much disharmony in the ocean that over time it balances itself out magically. It's just equilibrium. It found its harmony. It found its song. It found its music. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like humans were originally interfered so drastically in the natural order of the marine life, and then after so much influence, it balances back out. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Hello, Doris. How are you, my love? Okay, what's the next one? A tidal wave shall grace this world. Once again, it will bring forth the kiss of life and death. Okay, what does that even mean? Because, tidal tsunamis and tidal waves happen all the time. So, Spirit Angel, tell me, you said a tidal wave shall grace this planet once again. It will bring forth the kiss of life and death. What are you telling us? Okay, they're saying that this is a general sense, but let's take a look at my what's it called? National Tarot deck. Where is that? I have my National Tarot deck. I guarantee you I'm gonna find it when I end this live video. I guarantee you that. I think it's this one. Oh, here it is. I gotta organize that whole link. What we have Earth Magic. Let's take a look. Spirit Angels, tell me about you saying that the tidal wave shall grace planet Earth once again, and it will bring forth the kiss of life and death. Thank you. We have here a spring equinox. It's talking about rebirth, right? Think about it this way. If you were to take a massive tidal wave and run it through planet Earth, and then everything in that land will be reborn. It will become fertile. It will have all this nice water again. It will be able to be rejuvenated. It will be reborn. That's what it feels like. It feels like when there's a tidal wave, it feels like something gets changed. It gets cleansed. It's like almost like a cleansing type energy. Like this is the Mother Nature's way of cleansing. We have here ocean, ebb and flow, right? It's the natural order. It's not to punish anybody. It's just to cleanse, to have new things come about, right? It's the kiss of life and death, right? Things come to an end, things get born. I think this is very self-explanatory. Okay. The world will change rapidly for that many changes are coming. The Pacific Ocean will experience many ups and downs in regard to land and water, like peekaboo. So there's many ways that this could be interpreted. It could be interpreted as massive amount of ocean activity in terms of tsunamis. It could also be in regard to the fact that there could be sinking of water, like islands sinking underwater, which means rising sea levels, or even decreasing in sea level. It could also indicate tsunamis or massive tidal waves as well. So let's talk about that. Let's find out what the cards have to say to that. Spirit Angel Tommy, you told me that the Pacific Ocean will experience many ups and downs in regard to land and water, like a peekaboo. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Yeah, I agree with that. How are you, my love, Sarah? How are you? I did this video in honor of you, Sarah. I know you asked. Okay, we have perception or perspective, but it's reversed. It's all in the way that you perceive information. And what's on the top? Gaia, nurturing. It's the way you perceive how Mother Nature acts. If you see her as dangerous, you will always get danger. If you see her as a loving mother, a loving individual, a loving energy, you will see her and we will see positivity. Because here we have on reverse, we have rainbow, which is blessings, right? We're acting. The Pacific Ocean will experience many ups and downs in regard to land and water, like peekaboo, like tidal waves or tsunamis, right? The rainbow card comes in. It's not a blessing because those type of activity can also be very detrimental. It can cause massive amount of death, right? If they're not careful. We have here wolf, which means instinct, right? The instinct is reversed. It's the fact that nobody has the compass to survive natural disasters. Humans don't have the compass to survive natural disasters. And underneath this blessing card we have effortless. Which means no, this takes a lot of effort. The waterfall is very free flowing, it's very small, it's gradual, it's relaxing, it's peaceful. But when there's a tsunami, it's not effortless. It's a lot of energy, it's a lot of energetic force all at once. And it's a lot of water. It's not calming, it's not soothing. It can cause fear, it can cause shock, it can cause denialism, it can cause so many things. It can even cause destruction. But here you have a tree, which means grounding. It's for birds as well. What does this mean? It tells us here that there is going to be a realignment in the Pacific Ocean. A lot of water, lot of marine activity, not only inside the water, but also on land. And that's going to dictate a lot of what's happening on planet Earth. Planet Earth is going through a lot of changes, specifically in the Ring of Fire. And that's why you have the instinct in reverse, right? It's not following the way it used to follow in the past. So if you may have not noticed, and I don't know if this is legit or not, so you guys can verify me in the comment section below. This video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only as well. But according to what the guys are telling me here is that if you look at the data from the past like 50 years on the planet Earth, you will find that the data no longer correlates with the expectation or the prediction that they made back 50 years ago. Because planet Earth is operating on a different frequency, it's operating on a different timeline, on a different realm. So something from the past cannot dictate now because the thing from the past was operating on that current frequency, but it's not operating in our frequency. And that's why the blessing card is reversed, followed by effortless. It's going to create a brand new frequency for those countries and those areas that do not have the frequency needed for planet Earth to heal itself. It's going to get that frequency by flooding the area and then creating a reborn. Right? It says here, a tidal wave shall grace this world once again, will bring forth the light, bring forth the kiss of life and death. So what is that indicating? It's just simply telling us that Mother Nature will cleanse areas around the world that have a lower frequency so that they could be all on the same frequency together so that Mother Nature and the collective can heal, it can grow, it can advance. It says here, many will run, for that do not follow the masses, as they are dumb. They will lead you to the grave. Run to safety, so follow the animals. For that I've instilled a compass in all. In time of great emergency, but modern humans lacked it, as you were not made in my own creation, but rather a byproduct of my original. So what does this mean? Let's break it down. It says here, many will run, for that do not follow the masses that they are dumb. So it's saying here that many people who experience or notice there's danger nearby will start running in the same direction as other people are. But what the cards are saying and what the psychic channeling that I received was they're saying, no, don't follow the people, follow the animals. The animals know best. When there is no animals in the sky, no animals nearby, you don't hear a chirp, you don't hear a cricket, you don't hear a rat, you don't see birds anywhere. That is your sign that danger is nearby. And it's saying to follow the animal, they'll lead you to safety. You follow the humans, they'll lead you to death. That's all it's saying here. But it's also saying you as an individual lack the compass to find your way on your own. You need to follow and be in alignment with Mother Nature. That's why Native Americans realize, oh, we need to be in tune with animals in order to find our way through great emergencies. That is why back then a lot of Asian cultures embrace animals in their culture because they were the way, they were the compass in a great time of emergency. We have here California and many others shall hear my sound, for that they will experience a shaking unlike anything humans experienced since the age of the dinosaurs. The last time San Andreas fault line had erupted, I believe, if I'm correct, I don't really know if it's true or not, would have happened around the Cretaceous period. That's 65 million years ago. Spiritual angels tell me, you said California and many others shall hear your sound. For that they will experience a shaking and unlike anything humans experienced since the age of the dinosaurs. Tell us a little bit more about California and its great shaking. Tell me a little bit about this. Ooh, okay. There's a lot of energy here. A lot of energy. And any other cards you like to ask? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else, you Spirit? Okay. The bottom of the deck here is ocean, ebb and flow. Okay. Well, at the top of the deck, we have here release. So it hasn't released yet. It's going to release. So it's saying that there's a lot of energy built up. There's a lot of energy pent up underneath California that causes, and I quote, California and many others shall hear my sound, for that they will experience a shaking unlike anything humans experienced since the age of the dinosaurs. Because we have the sixth pentacle, right? We have disharmony. Again, this is the same thing that kept showing up in many of the questions and tarot card questions that I was asking today. I don't know if you know what's going on with me today. But this is what the Six of Pentacles was indicating. Six of Pentacles was telling us that there's disharmony in California. There's a realignment that needs to be happened. There needs to be a cleansing in California in many areas that wherever this great sound comes from, it's going to be heard by many nations. And here you have is the Emperor. So what does this mean? It has to do with the presidency. It has to do with the president as well. Remember what I talked about in my video back in 2021? I said that there was a lot of things that feel a little strange, a little off. I'll put the link to that video in the description below. But essentially, I talked about how there was going to be a great earthquake that's going to occur under the next president after Biden. And I couldn't explain at the time why many many institutions, federal institutions, were unreliable, why the infrastructure was failing. Look at what's happening now. We have Donald Trump who cut a lot of funding to a lot of these organizations, who basically got rid of the infrastructure funding, right? And he's only doing it to areas where he's only giving them money in areas who people voted for him in, right? California did not vote for Donald Trump on the presidential election. Therefore, that would make a lot of sense why California will have failing infrastructure. We have the 10 of swords here, and the 10 of swords is reversed. That is telling me this is not betrayal, though. Doesn't feel like nature's betraying you, but instead nature cleansing you, cleansing the land. But remember what happened with George Bush Jr. back in with Katrina in 2005, how something of natural disaster, his inability to respond to it destroyed Bush's popularity, it destroyed his image. Mother Nature has a funny way of destroying people and bringing people down. Trump is no different. And we have the Ace of Cups. In the eyes of some people, they will see the destruction, the disharmony, the disparity. But this is Mother Nature's way of helping you out. This is Mother Nature's way of helping out. Because she cannot speak, so she can only take action. And underneath the Emperor card in the Six of Pentacles here, we have the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords is reversed. It's talking about with certainty of the Emperor, so with certainty of this harmony with the President, right here. It's not because Mother Nature betraying you. This had nothing to do with her coming in and trying to hurt you or whatnot, but rather it's of great fortune, it's great wealth, and this is the Ace of Cups, followed by the Ace of Pentacles. For so long, the people in California, politicians and corporations have raped the country or the state of California of all its resources. And this is the Mother Nature's way of replenishing the depleted resources in California and in many areas where the sound is heard. As we have here is on top of the Emperor, is perspective in reverse. It's saying it's not as you may appear. But above the Ace of Cups, which is the blessing card, is submerged. They're not submerged, so it feels like something is going to be lifted, something getting lifted to the forefront, right? This is with great power, which is represented by lightning. So this is a lot of energy. Look at that waves here. Great power, great influence, right? Great control. And here you have as well as the whale, the beach, or breach, right? Something is being broken. The void has been broken. And here you have a celebration. So in a way, it's saying as well that something is going to get broken. Realization, people possibly, there could be a realignment by the spiritual realm to awaken people who were still asleep because they couldn't see what was around them. Sometimes Mother Nature needs to shake you up. I literally call it an actual shaking. All right, guys. I think this is pretty much it. We're gonna leave it here. I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about at this point in time. We went through the majority of it, so that's pretty good on that. But we'll revisit this soon. Um, Obviously, I've been stuttering this entire video, which is not really good. It's not ideal. My throat is really dry. And so I will be redoing this video probably say about a couple weeks from now. And we'll revisit and we will find out if there's still alignment, if there's still the same energy, if it's the same frequency, or has things changed. That's what we're going to find out in a couple weeks from now. So stay tuned, hang out. And I will see you guys later tonight after I get back from work, and we'll do another live. And I'll see you guys then. I thank you. I love you, and have a great night. And thank you for spending time and being with me. Love you.